Thank you for joining us for the 11th edition of AlbumWorks Presents, which is part of our ongoing live webinar series. My name is Naomi and I'm a member of our customer service team here in Melbourne. Hopefully everyone is enjoying the webinar series and getting lots of great pointers for making amazing photo books. We've got some helpful information all around photos and image quality for you today, so I'm sure you'll pick up some handy tips. As usual, we want to make this an interactive session, so please feel free to ask questions along the way. I will make time at the end to answer your questions. And I've figured out how to actually check the questions properly now, so I should be able to do that. To ask a question, you should see the webinar control panel on the right-hand side of the screen. If you're on a computer, you can type your question into this dialog box where my arrow is and send it. If you're tuning in on a phone or tablet, you should see a question mark at the top right of your screen, which you can press to type a question. Today's webinar should run for around 15 to 20 minutes, and I'd like to provide some information about your photo files that you'll be using when making a project in our editor. Today's topic includes, are my photos okay for printing? How to avoid my photos printing dark? And what photo files can I use? Okay, so let's get started. So, are my photos okay for printing? Well, the quality of your photos will be determined by two factors. One, the size of your image file. So a typical photo taken with a camera will be about 1 to 3 megabytes. If it's less than this, there's a good chance it will be deemed low quality. Some photos that are really high resolution may be more than that. They might be 5, 6 megabytes, even bigger than that. The second thing is the dimensions of your photos. So I'm talking about the width and height measurements, which is measured in pixels. Now on my screen, you can see on the left-hand side, the example is likely to have no issues when printing, as it's a larger file and the dimensions are reasonable. So it's about 2.5 meg and 6,000 by 4,000 pixels is the dimensions. On the other hand, the photo on the right-hand side of my screen is likely to be flagged as low quality by our editor. And that's because it's only 80 kilobytes, which is really small, and 600 by 400 pixels. So the editor knows that it's a small size, and it's likely that it's been compressed. So it's quite small. This is typical of images that are downloaded from the internet rather than an image taken directly from your camera. It's also important and relevant how large you want your photo to appear on a page. So if you're making a big 16 by 12 inch photo book and you want a photo to take up a whole page, then it needs to be a higher resolution photo than if you were making a small 8 by 6 book. Or if you just want your photo to take up a quarter of a page. I'll show you a bit of a demonstration. So here I've got some image files that I've taken, and I'm just going to show you these ones with Jessie. So this Jessie, and this is on a PC Windows computer. So on this photo here, you can see the file size is 2.54 megabytes. And the dimensions are around 4,500 by 3,500. That's a typical photo taken from a camera, and that's going to be fine in my book. However, this photo here, which I've actually compressed, you can see the file size is 86 kilobytes, which is tiny, and the dimensions are 460 by 345 pixels. So that's not going to look good. I'll show you in our editor. So, oops, that's not the page I want. So if we, that one of Jessie, the first one that was large enough, I can put that on a full page and I don't get any issue with the resolution. Whereas this one that's been compressed, when I put it here, I get this red triangle and it tells me low quality picture. So that means that it's too large to be used at that, sorry, the picture's too small to be used at that size on the page. If I make that picture smaller, see how it takes a long time for that red triangle to disappear. So once I get to here, that's now okay, and I can use it at that size. Whereas this photo, I can crop Jessie quite a bit, even to this size, just to get in her face, even smaller. And it's still not going to be low quality. That's because the photo is larger. And this is an 11 by 8.5 inch book that I'm doing, so it's about A4 size. So going back to my slides, so just to make sure your photos are suitable, it's best to download or extract them directly from your camera or your phone without compressing them. Photos taken from either of these devices should be fine as long as your device is set for high resolution images and as long as your device isn't like a million years old. Scan photos should also be fine if they are scanned at a high resolution. So we recommend scanning at least 300 dpi, but no more than 600 dpi. Otherwise, the file size becomes too large and that causes issues with memory with your computer. 300 dpi is usually fine unless you want a photo to take up an entire page. So remember, any photos taken from the internet have a higher chance of being low quality as they've usually been compressed. So be careful with photos taken from Facebook, Instagram, etc. They might look fine on screen, but doesn't mean they're going to print okay. So next, how to avoid my photos printing dark. Well, firstly, try to avoid using photos that were taken in low lighting, such as photos taken inside at night and without a flash, or photos that were taken in the shade outside or on a bright day. You can see from the slide on this slide that without sufficient lighting, it becomes difficult to see the subject matter of the photo. While it might look okay on your computer screen, the chances are that it will be even darker when printed. This is because photos on your screen are backlit with an artificial light, boosting the appearance of light in a photo, especially if your computer screen has the brightness turned all the way up. Try to use photos that are well lit. Using the flash indoors or even outdoors in the shade is a good way to make sure the subject in your photos will be brighter. To be confident that your images will be bright enough when printed, we highly recommend also using the Auto Enhance feature in the editor. This uses a formula to automatically enhance the light and shadow of your photos, so making it more suitable for printing. It won't make a really bad photo perfect, but it will adjust the brightness and contrast. And I'll show you an example of that as well. So on this page here, I've got a couple of photos that, and it's usually with night shots that, or night shots or again, dark photos that you notice it more. If your photos are perfect, Auto Enhance isn't gonna improve them at all. So to use Auto Enhance, I click on the photo that I want to Auto Enhance. On this right-hand side, I click on this tab, the second tab along, and underneath there's an Auto Enhance button, and I tick that. And watch what happens to the photo on the left. It's brought out the color. You can see the difference in there. It's brought out a lot of color in the photo. Same with this photo on the right. It's quite dark in the night, and I apply Auto Enhance, and it's brought out the red, and the writing is a lot better. So that's really useful to use. Okay. Now the other thing we can do is, if you want, you can request a paper sample pack from us, and we'll mail out some 8 by 6 inch samples to you of our different paper stocks and our print quality. So when you receive the samples, you can compare the preview image that we'll send to you by email, and you put that on screen and compare it to the actual samples. And that way you can adjust your screen brightness so that it looks more like the actual print that you'll be receiving. To request a sample, just go to our website and click on the contact button here. Down the bottom, there's an option to send a message. And in this drop-down list, you can say, I would like a paper sample. It'll ask for your name, email, your address, and what you want, and we'll reply with the online version, and we'll send out the samples to you in the mail. It may take a few days to receive them. I'll go back to my slideshow. The other thing with making, to try and avoid your photos being dark, and this does depend on your budget, but if you can afford to, we definitely recommend choosing high definition printing, and that will give you the best reproduction of your photos. So photos are printed with stunning clarity, and we have a really high customer satisfaction with HD printing. Choosing HD, it's an added confidence that your photos will be bright and sharp. Okay, next, what file types can I use? So there are specific file types that are accepted by the editor. The first one is JPEG. This is the most common type of photo file. So most cameras and phone cameras will use this format. The other one is PNG. This is commonly used for artwork and internet files, as it does not compress the image quality. The third one is TIFF, which is commonly associated with scan photos. I generally would recommend JPEG over TIFF, as TIFF file sizes can be really large. So the editor cannot accept PDF, GIF, or HEIC files. We recently have had a few queries regarding HEIC image files. These, they're commonly associated with photos taken on the latest iPhone models. So Apple has recently changed to HEIC format because it means the file size is smaller than a JPEG, and so it allows the user to store more photos in the cloud or on their device. If you're a Mac user, there is an easy way to convert your HEIC photos to JPEG. So I'm just going to show you a little video here of how it's done on a Mac. You open the Photos app on your computer and you highlight the photos that you wish to export. Then select File, then select Export, and export the photos. In this dialog box, it will automatically select JPEG as the output format. Choose the maximum JPEG quality, and then select Export, and choose the folder where you want to export your photos to. So in a second, you'll get a message once the export is complete, and you can then open the folder where the photos are saved. There it is on the right there. Unfortunately, if you're on a Windows PC, it's not this simple. The best solution would be using a third-party image editing software such as Photoshop, or another option is to do a Google search for online HEIC converters. If you're using a scanner to scan your photos, there are a couple of tips you want to note. So each scanner and computer will have slightly different selections, but you should be able to check the following settings before scanning your photos. So firstly, make sure your DPI settings are at least 300 DPI. Less than that will mean a smaller file size. And make sure you're capturing the correct file format. So JPEG is the best option there. Okay, that's all that we have time for today. If you do have any questions, please send them through now, and I'll just do a quick recap and then I'll answer your questions. So we've talked about photos and image quality. The larger your file size, the higher the quality. The editor gives you a warning if your image is low quality. Try not to use photos with poor lighting. Don't forget to use the auto enhance feature to boost your images, and make sure you're using the correct file type, so either JPEG, PNG, or TIFF. Okay, I'm going to have a look now to see if we have any questions, and just give me a minute here. Okay. Okay, someone's asking, so they're in the middle of a project and it has some older photos. If they cannot be printed, can the rest of the project be printed and then they can glue the photos into the album? Yes, that's an option. It's not ideal because it's going to look a bit strange. If your photos are low quality, look, you can still use them. You just need to know that they will potentially be blurry or pixelated. So perhaps suggest, the thing is, if the original image is fine and good enough to put in the book, then as long as you scan that image at 300 DPI, it should also be fine putting it into the book digitally, and that's the preferred option. Happy to talk to you about this on the phone as well if that's not clear. Next question was, do you have to auto enhance each photo individually, or you can do it in one go? You can do a whole double page spread in one go, so I'll show you how to do that here. If what you do is you click on one photo that you want to auto enhance, hold down your shift key and click on any other photos that you want to auto enhance so that they're all highlighted, and then come across and click the auto enhance, or I've unticked it, but if I tick it again, it does both the photos. To highlight all the photos on a page, you can press Control A on a Windows computer or Command A on a Mac, and that will highlight everything. So that's a good option there. Okay, someone's asked how to change a whole page to another. I'm not exactly sure. I'm wondering whether you're talking about rearranging your pages. I'll quickly show you how to do that. So all you have to do is click on the page menu and rearrange pages, and you can swap your pages around. So if I want to move that down, I can, whoops, I've got something in the way. I can just swap them there. That's how you do that, simply. Another person's asked about picture enhancement using the brightness and contrast buttons as well as auto enhance. So yes, if you're not happy with how something looks on the screen, you can certainly use those buttons. So let's go back to, apologies, I'm just finding the spot. If we go back to this photo, I might have used auto enhance. I can also change the brightness if I want it to be brighter or more contrasty. I can do that. The auto enhance usually does it really well, but absolutely you can do it manually as well if you don't like how it's done it. Sorry, just having a quick look through. So I've been asked, when you double click on a photo, does the image show the auto enhanced or brightened version? That's a good question, which I don't know the answer to, so let's test it. Yes, it does. So I can see that it has actually shown me the version that's been edited. Okay, I think that's all that we have in terms of questions. I'll go back to my slideshow. And just to finish off my usual speech before we go, so don't forget you are welcome to call our customer service team if you need any assistance. We're here Monday to Friday, 9 AM to 5:30 PM Melbourne time. Our phone number is 1300 553 448. You can also reach us by email, which is service@albumworks.com.au. Or you can chat with us via our live chat from our website. Our website is www.albumworks.com.au, and you can also view our current Spend More, Save More promotion there, or enter our photo competition where you can win a high definition album valued at up to $250. Both promotion and competition finish next Thursday. It is business as usual with production. We're still here making your photo books, other than possibly a slight delay with delivery. Everything else is normal. Thanks again for joining us, everyone. Looking forward to having you here again at our next webinar. And in the meantime, have fun creating your photo books. Take care. Bye.